So I have, over the last couple of weeks, been doing remakes of some of my original videos from my channel. Basically taking those short videos that I did and adding an actual narrative to the video so that I'm giving a better explanation of the point that I was trying to get across. So I'm basically taking the pre-narrative videos and adding a narrative so that they are clearer in terms of the message that I'm giving. So this particular video pulls together a bunch of things that point to the possibility that Kiely could have been at Boca at one point in time. And yes, it also includes a few things that were said by Meghan Cole, the Truckee local who insisted on inserting herself. And I know she's not necessarily the most credible source, but at the same time, I don't believe this is a source that we should be ignoring, because she, by her own admission, was close to Samantha, and she was also, by her own admission, coming out to protect Sammy, or protect the teens, or even to protect her own daughter. All of these things are statements that she has made. So for that reason alone, I believe that we do need to pay attention to what she has said, and I do believe that she does know a heck of a lot more than what she would like us to believe.
What you may have run into.
So my name is Nick. I work at an emergency roadside assistance program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You said you went to Boca.
yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Crosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
But it was around noonish, like 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, which was already on my radar.
Yeah.
Where you saw her.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're here in Reno. Let's go down to Truckee. There's Prosser, there's Boca.
Yep.
Just drop a pin on the road exactly where you saw her.
Well, we're at the right place, right? Boca, you come in, you follow this road down. I think that is the turnout right there. Yeah, this is it. And so right there, how she was coming out this way,
So
and out of
her front end was facing 894.
yeah.
All right. And did you leave before her, or did she leave before you?
I left before her.
Was there anybody else around?
There was people far back here, yes, but not near her. No.
When I was looking back under my GPS, under my phone of where I'd been, I was there both Saturday and Sunday, farther into Boca.
Everything you just heard unfolded right here where I'm standing. Talking about where Nick described him parking his service van. When he pulled up to give the battery service to Kiely, he parked his van right here, facing that direction. Her vehicle was parked right over here, facing 894.
Now, in today's video, I'm not going to debate whether we believe Nick to be credible or not, because the purpose of this video is to pull together the various sightings or slip-ups that seem to point towards Boca. So this is more about showing signs that maybe there was something at Boca, but I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide for yourselves who you believe, what you believe. That's not the purpose of this video, really. I may, because I just can't help myself, make a few comments along the way, but for the most part, I just want to look at how many times we've heard about sightings or we've heard comments that have pointed to Boca. So here we have this roadside assistance guy being clear that he saw a vehicle that he believed to have been Kiely's vehicle, and he even showed the location where he believes that he saw that vehicle. And he believes, we know from further investigation, that he saw a vehicle that he believed to be Kylie's on the Saturday, so after the party, the morning after the party. So that is our first sighting that when we became aware of Boca as a possibility. And we know that Adventures with Purpose changed their search and started with Boca. And they stated that it was because of that information and other information. So while they haven't stated what the other information was, they had, before they arrived at Truckee, been given other information that made them think that it was worthwhile starting with Boca as opposed to going with their usual practice of going with last known sighting. And I think that's important. Now, the following audio is Meghan Cole discussing her having asked Sammy if there had been invites put out for the party. And what she says here is significant because she slips up. And she slips up in a big way.
I asked Sammy, she said no, but again, she may not, might have been, again, she might have said it 4 weeks ago as a quick, we're going to have a party at the Boca, or at the resource, or we're going to have a party at the Boca, we're going to have a party at the Boca.
Now, it's worth noting here that as soon as she said Boca, she got all flustered and couldn't continue her sentence. She kept trying to fix it and just got really thoroughly more and more stuck.
The car is not at, but where the reef in the water.
And again, we have her starting to talk about where the car's not at. The car's not at, but in the water, and so once again, she stumbled. She started saying Boca. You can hear the "b." She stumbled, and then she got completely stuck. Now, she does come out much, much later on and claim to various creators that in her head, Boca and Prosser are interchangeable. And when she says Boca, she means Prosser. But the thing is, her saying that doesn't ring true. She's come out on various other occasions and spoken specifically about when she's gone to Prosser. She spoke about at one stage, I went searching and I drove all around Prosser and I went to the wrong side of Prosser, she says at one point. She also has mentioned that she used to go partying there when she was a teen. So this is someone who has lived in the area their entire life and who, when she is talking about Boca or Prosser and not in relation to Kiely and her car, gets it right. So her coming out at a much later date and claiming, no, I was only accidentally saying Boca when I meant Prosser, doesn't ring true for me at all. Especially because each time she's stuffed up here, she's really, really scrabbled around. It hasn't been a really calm, oh, whoops, I meant to say Prosser. It's been a scrabbled around, hoping that no one heard her say Boca. So when you listen to the way it's said, there's no mistaking here that she actually was meaning to say Boca, but it shouldn't have come out. This was definitely one of those slip-ups where Freudian slip, well, not quite a Freudian slip even, just accidental leakage where she's mentioned Boca, and she clearly knows something about Boca in relation to Kiely's case, in my opinion.
They all couldn't figure it out either. Do you think that when I'm going out searching and Evan's searching at the same place I'm searching, trying to walk around with my car? Yeah, I've been out to Boca many times during this whole thing. Yeah, I've been out to Boca. Yeah, I've been out to Boca.
So this is just one of the many times when Meghan talks about having been to Boca, or when she talks about having been to Prosser. Now, if you're going to mess up the name of a place, perhaps, yes, you would do that if you are just talking about it, but you're not visualising it. But here she is, she's telling us she's been there. So you know that in her head she can visualise the place. So I don't believe that she mixed it up. So we had one account saying that they believe that Kiely and others left the party to go to an after party. Was there an after party at Boca, or was the main party at Boca? We now know from looking at the FBI files that there were multiple parties in the area. So this is something we had heard on the grapevine, but now it is confirmed. So was there a party at Boca that they were at? Was there an after party at Boca? Or did something happen to Kiely at Prosser, and because they needed to fix whatever happened, they headed out to Boca instead? They needed a bit of time. Maybe Kiely had injured herself, or maybe something had happened in terms of drugs, and they needed time to figure out what they were doing. Whatever the situation is, it seems like there could well be a link to Boca when it comes to Kiely's case. Whether it was an after party, whether there was a party specifically at Boca, whether perhaps they took her keys and lured her to Boca for a fight. You've got to question why Boca gets mentioned so frequently, and why someone who claims that she was in it for Sammy, and she was in it to stand up for Sammy or her daughter or the teens, depending on which account she's giving, why is it that Boca is so significant in her head also? So there were a series of comments and posts that were made in relation to Boca Reservoir, and I'm going to go through them, or the ones that at least were in the video that I put out, for you to have a look at. There was a comment on a post early on of a kayaker or fisherman leaving Boca / Stampede who came across a group of cars outside of the designated camping area and along the road. He described much the same thing as the tow truck driver. He said the girl looked like she had had a rough night, was with a boy and a few others. It was a little earlier than TTD on the morning of the 6th, and that the CRV was parked along the road having car trouble. He said he didn't have room to park, so he moved along. And then underneath, I'm hoping someone took a screenshot. Please take a look. It's not on the first PCSO post. I think it may have been a local group, but it was posted as a comment within the first few days. And I do remember hearing this comment about the kayaker or the fisherman. And it is interesting that in that one it talks about there being a girl with a boy and a few others, because if you remember in the interview with Nick, he talks about there being others further back. So let's consider a scenario where something has gone wrong and they need someone to come and get Kiely's car started, and others who were involved are going to clear out until after the tow truck driver has gone. so they're going to just sort of lurk in the background. That is one of the possibilities to consider. 2 more comments, and I know these are things that you've all heard, but these are the screenshots of those. So this one is from Monday, 8th of August, and this is someone from Prosser. A reporter from NBC News asked me if I would like to be interviewed on camera. I said no. He did ask me if the party was here Friday night, and I told him no, that the music came from west of the campground. Now, the only issue I have with that is that I don't think Boca would count as being west of the campground. So this could be referring to one of the many parties. West of the campground could mean still in the Prosser area. But let's look at the other one. So I live in Truckee. I went out looking for her Monday night. I met up with a close friend of the family, and she told me that Kiely was seen Saturday morning at Boca with a man at a local campground. I thought maybe she had her story wrong after Kiely was found, but now I'm not sure. So this was one that was someone who knew Kiely and believed that they had seen her on the Saturday morning at Boca. Now, there's no clarification here as to whether this person believes they saw Kiely because they saw her vehicle, or whether they did actually see Kiely. It is possible if you saw from a distance, you saw a vehicle that you believed was Kiely's vehicle and a blonde person, that you would automatically believe that since that was Kiely's vehicle, that the blonde that you saw was Kiely. So we don't know the full details of this, but it's certainly interesting. Okay, so Lindsay's friend Marika Beck came out really early on and said we've reason to believe she might have left that party spot to go to another campground with a smaller group of people. That would tie in with the sightings at Boca. What reason would there be for her to go to Boca? Well, I think that there is something there in relation to the texting her mum to get a later curfew. I suspect that she was lured or forced to go there if she did go to Boca. So it is interesting that early on in the game we have a friend of Lindsay saying that they believe that she went to another campground with a smaller group. And then up here you have someone saying, confirmed fact, Boca Road is where the tow truck driver in the Adventures with Purpose video said Kiely was broken down. Quote, I got a call up in Truckee or Boca for a battery call. The car was serviced right by Boca Rest Campground off Stampede Road. Now, I do want to point out something as well before I read the last of these messages, and that is that there was window glass found on the road between Prosser and Boca. That's never been fully explained, and that's something that's been very carefully forgotten. We also know there was the report of the tank top that was found on that same road, as well as a report of a mobile phone having been found on that road as well. So these are things that point to the possibility that there is a connection with Boca when it comes to Kiely's case. Now, obviously, when you're looking at cases like this and you have possible sightings, you have to consider how plausible they are. And you have to consider factors such as why would that be plausible? Why would that happen? So I like this theory that was put forward by Spun That One Girl, where she suggests Sammy drove her car to Boca. They realised they needed more time but couldn't function, so needed to go regroup. Parents got called and helped. They stored the car until Ellie cleared the reservoir and got a story together and ditched the car, not knowing AWP was coming. That is plausible. I can see that as happening. I do believe that it was Sammy that was seen driving her car leaving Prosser Reservoir. There is a sighting by multiple people who believe they saw Kiely leaving Prosser, driving her car with two boys in the car. To me, that sounds more like Sammy with her little sidekicks. But this is definitely a solid theory that is possible. Now, the darker screenshot on the right is actually from a TikTok video that I came across, which was a Truckee teen who had put a video on TikTok, and it was quite a lengthy video, but this bit stood out to me. When you pull up to Boca and nobody brought lights, started a bonfire, or set up a speaker. They're talking about a party at Boca. And this was also significant because this TikTok was put out around the time of Kiely's disappearance. There's nothing here to say that they were referring to the same party that Kiely was at, but it does show us that there were parties that occurred at Boca. So it does have significance on that side of it. And then over here we have, during the search for her, she was definitely spotted at Boca on Saturday, and the Prosser party was likely a way to distract, in line with where Ellie allowed people to search. Only problem is, the locals didn't care if an area was blocked off. They searched anyway because they wanted to find Kiely. So this is basically referring to the area that was marked on the map as being closed to the public. The area which, coincidentally, was between Prosser and Boca. So I think that is significant, especially when we consider things like the window glass being on that road between Prosser and Boca. So I think that there is definitely enough that would make us not want to completely discount the link with Boca. Now, I've certainly heard this top comment before. There were others that saw her at Boca the next day. This was known before the roadside assistance guy, but after they came forward, they shut up. And I've heard this from a few different sources, that there are people who believed that they saw Kiely or her vehicle at Boca the next day, but those people have now gone silent. Now, someone commented because she was camping at Boca, not Prosser. Now, I don't know the validity of that. It could just be someone speculating. Like I said, I've said so many times, we need to be cautious when we do look at these comments in videos, comments in social media posts, because unless it is coming from law enforcement, we still have to bear in mind that this could be someone coming forward for their own motivation, coming forward for notoriety, coming forward to make themselves feel important. They may not necessarily be coming forward with accurate information. It could just be about getting attention or steering a narrative. But certainly, all these things we've looked at here in this video point to the possibility that at some point before Kiely's vehicle was found with Kiely in it, that vehicle and Kiely were at Boca Reservoir.